is really happening?
Yeah, it's happening.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Jurassic World Chaos Theory video. Today we're going over all of the deaths from Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 1. With Camp Cretaceous wrapped up and Chaos Theory just beginning, we already have a lot more human deaths to discuss in Season 1 of this show than we initially anticipated. Sure, we made a big deal about it being on the mainland and multiple random people dying by dinosaurs, but actually, to my surprise when I rewatched the show, there's a lot less than I remember for some reason. But not to worry, as today we're covering all of the deaths that we do see on screen. So why not like the video if you're excited and subscribe if you're new around here as we cover everything to do from the Jurassic franchise. We're aiming for 250,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and with Chaos Theory Season 2 coming out relatively soon, I highly recommend subscribing so you don't miss an upload. A lot is also coming from the franchise in the next couple of years, so again, I can use that to encourage you even more to subscribe. But for now, once you're ready, sat back and enjoying your G Fuel after using code SWERVE, it's time to check out all of the deaths from Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 1. Starting off slow from Jurassic World Chaos Theory, but ultimately setting the tone of the show, our very first death is actually a fake out, where it is revealed in a flashback from Darius' point of view. After tussling with the Allosaurus in the redwoods of California and a Pachyrhinosaurus, he recognizes the eye of this creature as the same one that killed Brooklyn all those months ago. During this, we get a segment that features Brooklyn's blood. While it is technically a fake out, we can still count this as a death nonetheless. Episode 1 only had that fake out, understandably as that was literally the starting point of the show, but now we move on to episode 2, where we have literally the worst death of this show. It is so chaotic and emotional, and just was truly gut-wrenching to witness. Just take a look.
I'll call Sammy.
Yeah, Darius' phone being tossed out of the window onto the highway. Okay, I'm joking around with that one because, believe it or not, there are no deaths that actually happen in episode 2. But swiftly moving on to episode 3, that changes. This is where the deaths of this show start to kick in a little more and take a darker tone. Throughout episode 3, we're met with a brand new character called Carl. Carl seems to be the guy who owns the land next to Sammy's property and often has his issues with Bumpy breaking into his land. However, his issues surpassed it just being Bumpy, as he had an off-screen encounter with these Atrociraptors, as he is then found dead in his car by both Darius and Ben, who initially suspected that he was the one at fault for the breaker issue.
There he is. Guess he wasn't bluffing.
We know that's you, Carl! Stop messing with our dinosaur!
Episode 4 gave us a fresh look at Kenji as he reunites with the crew once again. We learn more about what actually happened between him and Brooklyn, and this is where the next death occurs.
I can't do this anymore. I can't be with you anymore if you're not going to be with me.
Yep, that's right, the death of their relationship. Okay, I promise that's the last one now, I promise. Once again, just like episode 2, there were no recorded deaths in episode 4 of Chaos Theory. But, approaching the midway point of the season, the deaths start to pick up just a little bit. Starting out in episode 5, we see two compies fighting over a sandwich on the road. One of them wins the battle of dominance, but at what cost? Only to be taken away by the Pteranodon and eaten. Something about this scene is really cool, and I love it. It's just so funny and naturalistic at the same time. As for human deaths, however, Kenji and Darius meet up with Daniel Kahn once again, assuming to be the very first time since the incident that took place on Manticore Island back in 2016. After having discussions with Daniel, Darius noticed that everything has gone quiet all of a sudden, suggesting that a predator is in the area. This is where we come across our first human death, which happened off screen. Stevens, the patrol officer in charge of watching Daniel Kahn, is seen dead as an Atrociraptor then appears coming from the lifeless body. And then chaos ensues. Here we have one of the 3 best death scenes in this series so far. Daniel Kahn saves his son, giving him a second chance at life as he tackles the Atrociraptors. And then, from here, we all know what happens next.
Kenji!
Run.
Here in episode 6, Ben and Sammy travel to Yasmina's Dino-Free Island, a place of sanctuary and safety for all of its residents. However, we soon learn that it's not all pretty flowers, as a sabotaged attempt to kill the campers left a Beckle Spinax within the vicinity. This Beckle Spinax in this scene makes its first kill. And then shortly after, it chases down someone in a blue attire and then kills them behind a wall. And finally comes the tremendous death where this helpless man holds onto Yaz before being dragged out by the jaws of this carnivore, ultimately being devoured there and then. Unfortunately, episode 5 and 6 are the episodes where we have the most deaths in a single episode, as episode 7 starts to take more of a backseat. Throughout this season, we have a total of 3 angles of Brooklyn's death. Unfortunately, the one where she filmed herself isn't quite good enough to be considered a fake-out death, but the one that we see from Mateo's perspective certainly is, as it comes across that she truly is dead. After being chased by this Allosaurus and then letting out a scream to sudden silence, this right here just makes me wish that Brooklyn was actually confirmed dead at the end of the show, as this scene had everything to be believable. It was very ballsy of them to do, and I really hope we see more of this going into season 2. Episode 8 brings us back to the action as we have an action-packed episode of driving cars into dinosaurs and running away from gunfights. This is where the Beckle Spinax has one more kill, as the DPW worker is trapped in the drinking water for the dinosaurs. He comes face to face with the Beckle Spinax without realizing that he's actually out of ammo.
No! 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 No!
Episode 9 returns with another set of unfortunate proceedings. For us, there's no deaths in this episode whatsoever. You think that we'd at least see 1 or 2, as it is the penultimate episode. But no, besides this bumpy fake out, we had nothing. And finally, as we reach episode 10, the final episode of the season, we're gifted with 2 deaths. One of which may very well be the best death of this series so far. So let's discuss it. Cabrera is the first to die here, as we see him being chased by the Atrociraptors as the raptor handler sends them on him to tie up any loose ends. We visually see the Atrociraptors knock over Cabrera and eating him alive, which is the closest we got to a proper on-screen death in this series so far.
No, wait! I know where the
But soon after that, Jensen, who openly mocked Cabrera for thinking he was in charge earlier in the episode, is stalked by the Allosaurus on the docks. Only seeing a reflection in his phone, it was far too late for Jensen to react, as he was then eaten up by the Allosaurus, finalizing the deaths of Chaos Theory Season 1. So what did we learn from the kill count of this season? Well, not many deaths actually happened, especially dinosaur on dinosaur ones, something I'm hoping that will change as the seasons go on. I think with the lack of kills in Dominion, we want something more refreshing, and we're currently seeking that in this very show, so let's just hope that they don't let us down. But who is the MVP of this season? That would be the Beckel Spinax, totaling a number of at least 4 kills. Pretty impressive. And that wraps up the kill count for Season 1. We'll be doing the same for Season 2 when it does drop, so make sure that you're staying tuned on the channel by pressing that subscribe button for more Jurassic related content here on YouTube. Comment down your favourite death from Season 1 in the comments below, like the video if you enjoyed, but most importantly, make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hello, hi, you. Did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.